friends, welcome to Bella's Stitchery. You know you're a crafter when friends text you anytime they're about to throw something away because you might be able to use it. And that's what happened in this case. My friend texted me and said, hey, I was going to throw this book away because, as you can see, it's seen better days. Maybe you could use it for crafting. Do you ever say no? Never. There's always something you could do. So I'm going to make a mini album using some of these pages. My original idea was to upcycle and modify the book itself, but once I saw the condition it was in, scrapped that plan, moving on to the next idea. So what I'm using is a chipboard Bow Bunny mini album. This is actually a refill for a larger album. I'll put some links to chipboard albums. I like using things like this because they're easy to bind with rings. See these? Whoops. See these? Super easy. You don't have to sew or anything complicated to put them together. And they adhere really well with paper, rice paper, napkins, anything you want to decoupage. So what I'm going to do is I found several pages that I liked. And I'm using Mod Podge for my adhesive. The reason being, you could use any liquid glue. I would not recommend using hot glue for this because it does dry fast and sometimes a little bit bumpy if it's not hot enough. I wanted a really smooth finish and to get full coverage. So you could use like a kid's craft glue, art glitter glue, anything that's liquid. I like Mod Podge just because it's also intended to go on top of things, and this is a little bit messy to work with. I used matte finish as opposed to glossy because if I did accidentally get some of my paper glued, I didn't want those portions of it to be glossy when the rest was matte. So because this is matte, if it gets around, and it will, I don't have to worry about it because it's just going to dry matte anyway. At the end of the video, by the way, I'm going to post about how to be entered for a giveaway for this. I'm going to do that this Friday in April. What are we? The 27th. So this Friday, I'll post the link details because the winner will be announced on Facebook. So go over to my Facebook page after you watch this to enter to win this mini album. Okay, moving on. Let's get our Mod Podge ready. And I love this. Diane, who's this from? Dana Weekly. Mixed media brush. Isn't that pretty? My sister gave me this, and I really do feel like an artist when I use fancy brushes like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my Mod Podge all over. Does anybody else feel the urge to say Mod Podge all the time? I understand it's Mod Podge, but it sounds like it should be Mod Podge because those words sound the same. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Tell me your thoughts. Leave me a comment. Have you used this before too? I don't use this as much as I should. I bought a 2-pack on Amazon. I'll put the link that had this gigantic matte one and a glossy finish one. And then I look at them every once in a while because when I bought them, I was like, oh man, I'll use it all the time. I need to use it more. Okay, now I'm going to place this about where I want. This is going to be my title page. So I wanted to put the title of the book here, and I put it about where I think it's centered. Then I'm going to flip this over because I'm always crooked. I'm going to move it just a bit so that it's straight. Okay, now my favorite tool to use for this technique is a craft knife because once it's glued down, I flip it over. I have a craft mat here, and then I'm just going to run it flush with the edge. That's another thing that's pretty awesome about working with chipboard, especially in a shape like a square, is it's actually really easy to work around and to cut through without having to do a lot of fussy cutting. It's a much simpler process. Okay, then you just pop it right out. Look at that. Page 1 done. Now, what I also found helped get a little bit more glue once you have that down, and just make sure those corner pieces got enough glue. I'm just going to put some in the edges there. Put some in the edges there. That one's pretty good. Okay, now I have a hole punch here handy. I'm going to punch the hole where my chipboard holes are before putting down this second page because I want to be able to see where that hole is. Trust me, I've done it the other way too, where I've done both and I'm like, oh wait, and then you hold it up to a window to kind of see where it is. This is an easier process that way. Okay, now I'm going to find another fun page. There's just so many cute pages. I kind of like this. I like the chaos pages. They're my favorite. And same process for the back side. The only thing is make sure you're the same side up. Again, speaking from personal experience, I can't tell you the amount of times I have glued something only to find it is upside down. Woohoo! And then you're like, huh, maybe this could seem on purpose, or do I just rip it up? It's a judgment call. Oh, or sometimes it just becomes one of those crafts that I just give my kids. And I'm like, look, do you want this pretty card? You can die cut circles out of it. They love it. Okay, so here's that. We're going to put this down. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Okay. I just love all these books. The Busy Town and Best Board Book Ever. I think that's one too we have. I had all these when I was growing up too. They're just so sweet and so much to look at. I remember looking at these books for hours when I was a kid because there's just so much to see. Huckle, Lowly Worm. Trying to think of what are some of the other characters' names. Does anybody else know? These books have been around forever. They're just so adorable. Okay, do the same technique here. Cut along the edge, close as you can. Flip it around. I find it's much easier to rotate my project while cutting than to rotate my arm. So I'm going to do that. All four sides, like so. Easy. Now, same thing. We're going to cut the holes here, punch those out. If I could, there we go. Act like I've used a hole punch before. There we go. Let me check my edges. Looks pretty good. This one needs a little bit. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is sand the edges. And the reason I do that is because it helps me get a cleaner finish. See how sometimes there's a little tiny waviness because that's just me. And I want it to really marry with the chipboard well. So you can use sandpaper. If you don't have sandpaper, you could also use an emery board. Sometimes I actually prefer these because they're easier to hold. See? And you could really get, especially if you're working with die cuts and you need more agility to get in different areas, this works great. And it seems like I always have them on hand, especially now that I YouTube and I try to actually do my nails. Oof. So it's its own part-time job because I'm so hard on my hands. I don't know how any crafter has nice nails. I feel like I'm having to redo my nail polish every 2 days because the minute I work with inks or I super glue myself, it's kind of a daily thing, then there goes the nail polish. And I'm like, oh shoot. Especially when you're doing videos where all you're seeing are my hands, which yay for me, yoga pants, but boo for the shape of my nails on a regular basis. Okay. So I'm going to do this. This just helps, again, make it look a little bit cleaner on the edges and like it was meant to be on this. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, then final step is I'm going to take some walnut stain distress oxide for my edges. I like this because this is kind of a junk journal. It's kind of vintage style. I just feel like it gives it a softer look and it kind of frames my paper. Just a little bit. I don't want it super dark. I don't want it super distracting. And it's pretty quick. There we go. Pretty. This is so cute. Okay, so that's that. Now, I magically made the rest. There you go. So this, now I'll show you. We're going to bind them all together. This had a lot of pages too. Let's see, we have, look, I put a little photo mat. I'll actually just show you what I made. Look at this. I put a little photo mat here. How cute. I didn't want to put a bunch. Now, whoever wins this, you could put however many photos you want on there, tags, whatever. But I just really like these prints. They're just so fun. This is my favorite story, by the way. I don't know if you have a favorite, but this Mom's Busy Day. I don't even cook, but I can relate to this feeling. And she does the laundry. And look at chaos. Like I said, I love the chaos. Oh, cute, cute. Just love that story. Here I made a little pocket. So this comes out. Just love it. I love the whole thing. So when I'm done with my pages, I'm going to take these little ring clips here, put it through all of my pages like so, and then it clips together. Easy, right? I don't know if you've used these before. I love having these on hand because even if you don't have an official chipboard album, you can hole punch paper, chipboard, plastic, and make your own albums no-sew, which I love because I don't sew very often. So there's that. Now what I want to do for like a final touch is to add some flowers. So I got some of these because I liked that they kind of looked 60s to me. And this is a very 60s kind of book. I think it came out in the late 60s, didn't it? I'll have to Google search it. But it just feels very 60s. So I'm just going to put a couple here. I don't want to be too embellishy because I just want the pages to stand for themselves. I love all the illustrations. I find that a lot with paper too, especially certain brands like Stamperia, for example, that have these beautiful, busy illustrations, Graphic 45. Sometimes it's harder for me to just edit and just leave it because it's just pretty. Okay, so we're going to do that. Now, I am going to add some embellishments to these rings because why not? Why not? I have ribbon. I always have ribbon and I very rarely use it. So I picked out a couple colors that looked good together and I'm just going to tie a couple knots. Makes it fun, whimsical, gives a little personality. Again, it's a super easy thing to do. I used to do this technique on everything. Remember when that was a thing? Just adding ribbon knots to scrapbook pages and banners and cards and door handles around your house. I don't know. I went through a real ribbon, I'm gonna say ambitious purchase, I don't know, time in my life. And sometimes when you go to a place like Michael's and all that ribbon is on sale, I just can't help myself and I buy a bunch of ribbon. I get home, I'm like, what am I buying all this ribbon for? Again, I don't even use it that much, but you just can't help it and it all looks so pretty. And they make it, like they set it up in ways that are just so pleasing to the eye where it's like all these ombre shades leading into the next. And if you find a color you like, well, there's stripe and polka dot and all of the patterns available. Okay, it gets me every time. So when I do use it, I'm always happy. And this actually was a really soft ribbon, kind of silky. And I was going to add green too, but now I'm not. So here's my album. Cute. Love it. It just makes me happy. I don't know, photos or not, it's just kind of a fun book. This might be a book kids just want to play with because I know I do. So for this giveaway, like I said, it will be Friday on my Facebook page. I would love you to comment here too, but I'll draw from Facebook. It just seems to be easier to communicate and message people that way for their mailing address. So I'll put a link to my Facebook page if you're not already following Bella Stitchery there. Just enter, comment, tag a friend from your own busy town. And then I'll announce the winner. I'll ship this off to you and then hope you enjoy it for decades. Subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, let me know what you think. Check it out, try it out. Let's make some stuff. Bye.